Hey guys, what's up? Plastic Guy here, coming back with another figure review, and today we're taking a look at this NECA Ultimate Leatherface from the original 1974, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise is probably a series that isn't quite making my top 10 horror list. I do really like the original and the 2003 Michael Bay remake. I think both of them are absolute solid horror movies, but all the other films in the franchise just fall pretty flat. Nonetheless, Leatherface is still an absolute iconic horror villain, and the only other Leatherface figure that I actually have in the collection is this 2003 McFarlane movie Maniac's Leatherface. And because we're deep into spooky season, because Halloween's coming up, I did want to grab another Leatherface figure. I wanted to get him in that more classic, iconic look, and being a big fan of the NECA horror figures, I knew exactly where to look. So he's finally arrived, and I definitely want to take a closer look at him here on the channel. Before we do though guys, let me know down in the comment section below what your favourite Texas Chainsaw Massacre film is. I would probably put the 2003 remake at my number 1 spot. The first one's just so brutal, it's unrelentless, and it dulls down the rewatchable factor a bit for me, whereas the 2003 one I think is a lot less unpleasant and more watchable, so I'd probably put that at number 1, the original then straight next, and then yeah, it's a bit of a free-for-all after that. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, that has to be the worst, right? Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section, and let's not wait any longer, let's take a closer look at this guy. So let's take a quick look at the packaging. This figure has been re-released a lot of times over the years. There's not exactly different versions of the figures, but there will be slight variations here and there just with the re-releases from NECA. And so I have seen slight differences on different boxes. It doesn't mean your Leatherface is a fake, it doesn't mean it's a knockoff. You might just have a different re-release from, you know, the years gone past. I do know that this is authentic. You can tell from, a really easy tell is the stitching in the apron here. If the stitching on your figure is really sloppy and it's not consistent, then yeah, you've probably got a knockoff. And just, yeah, we'll see the attention to detail on this thing. It's up there with the real authentic ones. I did get this from a second-hand seller on eBay who was selling a lot of his NECA figures, so I do know this one's legit, but I did just want to give that heads up. You might have a slightly different box. For example, I've seen ones up at the top here, it says 40th anniversary, but with this one, we just get the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, ages 17 and up. We get the front of the box here, which I really like. I love this image, I love this poster, I like seeing it on t-shirts. This is a great Texas Chainsaw Massacre poster right here, and I like how it looks on the front of the box. We then get the side and the bottom, the other side, and the back of the packaging here. If you want to read that right up, hit that pause button now, and let's just take a closer look at what we get with this figure. In fact, first of all, one more wee look. We get the window packaging, so we get this image on the inside of the box, and then we actually get this pretty cool backdrop inside the box as well. So at this point, I'm pretty used to getting a lot of accessories with these NECA horror figures. I do feel like we get slightly less with this release, but I do feel like we do get the essentials, which is the main thing. We get this meat hook here, which of course Leatherface likes putting his victims on, and it'd be cool if you found something to hang that from. But I think it does look really nice. We get the blood effect at the bottom, and then yeah, this just kind of straight metal pole for the rest of the piece. We then get this alternative head sculpt, which is gnarly looking. I do prefer the mask that he has on. We do of course see this in the film, and yeah, it's pretty brutal, man. Like, look at the way that that's going over his face, the eye holes. I think this is a good telltale as well if you have a fake version, because this head sculpt always looks a bit off and a bit messy, whereas this looks pretty clean. You can see the eyes very well, got the wee hole at the top of the head. Yeah, I like that we get this alternative head sculpt, but personally I'm happy with the one that he has on. We of course then get the chainsaw, and I've got a bit of a problem with the chainsaw. As I said, I bought this off of eBay second hand from a trusty seller, and he did detail that the chainsaw was slightly broken. He said it could probably be glued back together. It can't. I've tried 2 or 3 times to super glue this thing on using the same glue that I've used with many a plastic figure over the years, just some simple Loctite, and this will not glue back together. It is impossible. So unless you know any glue that is really going to stick this together, I'm admitting defeat, but you can let me know down in the comments section if you think of anything that might help me out here. It does still work, you know, he holds it still pretty well, but it is detached there at the handle. That aside, sculpt is excellent here and the paint is absolutely killer. Look at the way the blood sprays up the side of the yellow. It looks so good, especially when he has it in his hands, which we can see later on. The sculpting on this thing is insane, and yeah, the paint is just so good. The attention to detail, once again with these NECA horror figures, is through the roof. So yeah, I love this chainsaw accessory right here, and I love the way the blood sprays all over it. We then get his hammer. We see this numerous times in the first film, in the remake, his mallet here for knocking out the victims, so I'm glad we get that. We then get a meat cleaver, which is nicely sculpted, good metal paint effect on it. You can see a wee chip out the back, circle up the top, and wooden handle. And of course we then get a wee knife as well, and this is actually pretty cool. Blade looks nice, and then it's got a bit of a funky handle. It looks very homemade out of a bit of tree or something like that. So yeah, cool accessories. As I mentioned, it might not be as many as we're used to, but I do feel like we get all the essentials, and maybe I'm just tripping. I can't think of any particular NECA figure where we get hundreds of accessories, but I just do feel like we get treated every time we open one up, and seeing this, yeah, we get a substantial amount here. And as I said, the main thing is we get the essentials. Taking a closer look at Leatherface himself, we have an excellent head sculpt here. Looks really faithful to the original film. I think it's really nicely textured. The sculpt is great, really good paintwork, especially when you see like the eyes and the mouth kind of poking through. It's done so well here. The hair is really nicely sculpted, good paint on it. I like the way it kind of hangs over at the front of the mask. And yeah, I think the mask is spot on. I really like the look of like the upcoming Mezco Leatherface, and I do like a lot of the more expensive Leatherface figures, and I don't think this looks the same, but you know, it's all from the same look. It's weird how the masks and things vary from different companies, but I'm really happy with NECA's look here. As I said, it's faithful to the original, really nicely sculpted, nice texturing, great paint. Can't complain at all. This is a great Leatherface likeness for me. And then that's carried out through the rest of the figure. I think the shirt's pretty spot on, the stripes, it's pretty dirty as well, you know, it doesn't look clean at all. We do get this tie, which is often flopping out on top of the overalls here, but I did actually tuck that in. It looks fine, you know, I'm not sure if I'll be able to get it back out. Let's give it a go.
Approximately 10 hours later.
And I'm quickly giving up on that because I'm really just messing up the apron more than I would like to. So yeah, there is a tie that normally I think sits out in the figure. I tucked it in and I do prefer how that looks, to be honest. Shirt's looking great, nice folds round the back. And as you can see, it's looking really dirty up here. Lots of nice sweat and stains going on. The arms, once again, got this dirty, grimy vibe going through them. I think that's great. I wouldn't expect anything less on Leatherface here. See the dirt kind of bundled up in the hand and going right round. Same on the other arm, and he does, of course, have this sort of bangle on his wrist as well. The apron looks excellent. If anything, I just wish there was more blood kind of up the top here, but it looks really good, and I do like how the blood looks down at the bottom. I think sometimes posing this guy around and when he's holding the chainsaw, it does seem a bit bare up here, but yeah, that's literally the only thing that I could complain about with this figure, because the rest is great. You've got the trousers that are pretty accurate in colour, nicely sculpted. We can see some more shading and things going around the bottom, and he has his shoes, so yeah, really good, really nice sculpt, paint's excellent, attention to detail as always is 100% on this guy. I love it. And for some horror figure comparisons, we have our ultimate NECA Leatherface next to the McFarlane Movie Maniacs 2003 remake. Leatherface. I was going to say figure, but this is a straight up statue. There's hardly any articulation on it. And for that reason, I would definitely recommend the NECA Leatherface over this one. It comes with more accessories, a lot more posable. It is a different look, so I don't know if you prefer the 2003 film and you want that Leatherface. This is fine, but I would say this is the much better figure. And for a NECA figure comparison, I know this is a bit random, I'm not gonna lie, I just picked these ones on what was the easiest for me to get out onto the display here. We've got the NECA Ultimate Chucky, Friday the 13th Part 4 I think, and the NECA Rob Zombie Halloween remake. I really hope to see an updated Ultimate Michael Myers from the Rob Zombie film coming out in the future. They could really do a great upgrade on this figure because once again, similar to the McFarlane movie Maniacs, this is more of a movable statue. But these three here are top tier NECA figures, and you can see Leatherface is just standing a tiny bit smaller than Jason here. I do have his legs slightly more hunched, so they will be around the same height. And of course you've got the smaller Chucky figure in the front. And so there we have it for our NECA Ultimate Leatherface from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And as always with these NECA horror figures, I absolutely love it, man. I think there's been a lot of care put into this, a lot of attention to detail as always. We get the accessories, we get the sculpting, great paintwork. There is really minimum to complain about with these NECA horror figures, and as long as they're retailing for around £30, I'll definitely be happy to pick them up. A big reason that I ended up getting this figure is because I really like the look of the Mezco Leatherface that has just went up for pre-order. It looks amazing and I was very close to picking that up, but I do honestly think that that figure would be wasted on me. These horror figures for me just kind of sit out on display. I don't pose them very often, just around this time of year when it gets to Halloween. I like them more as a display piece, and these NECA figures look the part and they are a fraction of the cost of a Mezco, and so yeah, this will do it for me. This is more than enough. As I said, we get the essential accessories and he looks great, so yeah, I'm really happy with this. Let me know what you guys think of this figure down in the comment section below. While you're down there guys, if you could do me a massive favour, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, then please hit that subscribe button. I'll leave the link to my Instagram down in the description below, where I'll definitely be posting some pictures of Leatherface over there, so feel free to check that out. And feel free to hop on over to the channel page as well. There are loads of other action figure reviews, and it would mean a lot if you could check them out. It means a lot that you've checked this video out right here, so thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I'll catch yous on the flip-flop later. Cheers.